Warren saying his little 1-year-old daughter has sexy legs. He's a freak. Yeah, thank you.
Did he say that 1-year-old daughter?
Thanks for being here. We'll get into it as we go. Mooten, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm blue no matter who. Graham's got some controversy, but we're still in the primaries, so we got one more day left to shit talk him.
One more
go through
day.
all of our grievances, etc. But I do think, I guess, once the nomination is secured, I think if you were working on any of the other campaigns, like Miller's, that you should have to continue on and go and help Graham's campaign too. I think you should give it the same energy that you gave the other nomination that you were excited for.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. We'll get into it. Hutch.
I'm pretty maximally blue no matter who. I have kind of a reputation of biting some pretty insane bullets. So, of course, that applies to Plattner. I think I'd draw the line at kind of sanitizing what I think are the obvious problems. I think it's kind of patronizing to voters to pretend like these problems are not problems. So I'm going to be honest when people ask my opinion about him, but I'm not going to back away from my principle, which is that the structure of the Senate, the composition of the Senate, whoever controls the majority is an issue that is so much bigger than one particular candidate. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Well, thank you, and we will get into it. PvP, are you with us? You're muted on your end, sir. We'll go back to him. Tolly, give us your thoughts.
Oh, God.
Hello, I am Tolly. I am a registered independent, Republican-leaning, voted Democrat my entire life before the 2024 election. I think that blue no matter who is completely coherent and defensible. However, we saw what that type of thinking that many people on this panel today will acknowledge did to the Republican Party. I don't think trying to rerun the 2016 playbook is a good idea. I think also people are discussing this race as though it is about the Senate or kind of standing by principles and morality. The thing that I don't think people have really considered is it's entirely possible that Graham Plattner wins Maine and the Dems still remain the minority in the Senate. And then you just have Graham Plattner there as part of your problem. I wish that the Republicans, way before I was, leaning towards their movement, had made better decisions. And I hope the Democratic Party does not tie themselves to a really erratic and untrustworthy anchor like Graham Plattner.
Okay, thank you. We'll get into it as we go. PvP.
Please tell me my mic is working this time.
It is working this time. Go ahead, give us what you got.
So I told Wick that I was coming on this panel as a pissed off independent. And I'm not going to throw a bunch of heat at people. I'm not here to scream at you guys, but I stand by that as a description of why I showed up. I'm not that interested in doing these blood sports anymore, but this particular race, this particular candidate speaks to me in a way that I think is kind of important, and I bring a little bit of a perspective that maybe isn't usually on these panels. I've been a registered independent for my entire adult life. I did vote Kamala, so if the question is, have I voted blue no matter who? Yes, I have done that, but I have never asked anybody to do that because I'm an independent, and I am not a partisan. I am not a Democrat. I did that through gritted teeth because I was not happy about that candidate, but I would play ball because that is what the moment demanded. In this moment right now, I am looking at a candidate who is risking dragging down every other Democrat with him.
Really,
I'm looking at a candidate who is flawed on a level that I can barely express in words. And in this moment, if you want me to take you seriously, then you need to take seriously every flaw that this candidate is bringing with him. If you don't take it seriously, then all that tells me is that you are a partisan and that you haven't thought that hard about this, and that probably you're incredibly foolish because you're failing to understand that this candidate is going to affect other candidates that are not him.
Why?
That is every other Democrat on the ballot. So if you actually care about a Senate majority or a House majority, then you need to get your shit together and you need to be prepared to actually answer these questions about this particular candidate, because without an answer to them, you're risking everything else for what? Because you don't even have an answer. Okay. That's where I'll leave it.
We'll get into it, I'm sure. And last but not least, Alice, please.
Hi, I agree with the premise, blue no matter who. But to To be meaningfully blue is to be meaningfully committed to egalitarianism in a way Graham Plattner has not proved. And the utility of blue no matter who is to pick winners no matter what in a way I do not think he can do. There's still time to replace him, and we should consider it. Until then, I think any positive advocacy for this man is doing far more harm than good.
Okay. With that, let's get into it.
Alice, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If you, I hear what you're saying about like there's still time to replace him. So even though the primary is tomorrow night, I think the deadline is July 13th at 5 p.m.
13th at 5 p.m. Yep.
Yeah, when it's locked in according to Maine's laws when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so once he becomes locked in, as I suspect he will, would your opinion shift?
Can I jump in off that? And I don't want to take away your answer, ma'am. Please do. But Hutch, if you don't mind, I want to jump in on this conversation.
Hold on, just PvP. Can you let her answer the question and then?
Yeah. Sorry.
The guy's name is PvP.
Right
How's he supposed to resist?
Yeah.
Promise. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so after that lock-in date, I think there's more of an argument for it. However, even then, especially considering what I think is likely heavier stuff coming down on him, it's not the best use of our time to spend any energy positively advocating for him. That's kind of like you get what you get. Good luck to him. I think the more we push harder and center that as a topic, the more it sabotages other races.
What gives you the sense that there's a meaningful path to replacing him? Because, I mean, I guess for me, if I would have seen more Democratic senators like publicly rebuke him or try to push him out, then I feel like maybe I would hold out some hope. When it came to like Biden, there was a lot of motion. There was a lot of very high profile Democrats that were sort of leaving that door open. And I'm just not seeing that with Plattner. So I guess I'm just resigned to him being the nominee. I just don't see a meaningful path to replace him at this point.
I mean, he was even talking to Schumer, right?
Well, this is why I wanted to jump in, Hutch, and it's around this exact line of questioning.
Why are they ignoring my boy?
When the other side was opening up, I expected you were going to be the most reasonable. So I promise I'm not trying to hijack the conversation, but you got us kind of started on a good note here. So I want to ask you, do you know whether or not Maine runs open or closed primaries?
I believe they're closed primaries.
They're not. And this is why I wanted to jump in here, sir, because if you're asking me, is there a path to fix this? Here's the answer to that. Maine ran closed primaries until last cycle, which means all sorts of adult independents, and in the registration numbers for Maine, it's about 1 in 3 voters, 1/3 of Maine voters are registered independent, and a lot of them probably don't know that they can vote in primaries. They can. They just can't vote in both.
Is he implying that what other candidate could possibly?
How do you do anything about this? You're saying that you don't see any path to preventing his nomination, and I understand that. I'm not saying that our goal tonight is prevent his nomination, but if you're asking what is the answer to that, the answer is: have you asked independents to vote? Have you encouraged them to get involved in the process?
When I ask if you guys see a path to replacing him, I don't mean theoretically. I mean realistically. Do you see a path?
Yes.
Like I just don't see.
Do you think the polling that they're all using is dependent on Democratic primary voters, or do you think it's based on a blended mix of Democrats and independents? Because I'm going to tell you that I'm pretty sure that the first question they ask you is, "Are you registered Democrat?" No, hang up.
Yeah, if somebody else wanted to jump in, I feel like I've been speaking.
I think it's very, very, very unlikely for Plattner to be replaced as the nominee. But you bring up an interesting point for people in the media. Really, I see more than actual politicians. There are some select Democratic politicians who are taking, a more courageous stance against Plattner. But there are notable people in the media on CNN, on MS Now, ABC, whatever, who have issues with Plattner. It is interesting, to your point, that they have not raised this. That this year, for the first year, Maine has open primaries, and that independents could actually vote in the primary and try to change this. But I think, to Hutch's point and to maybe everyone's point, I think it is just very unrealistic for him to be replaced at this point.
I would listen to those criticisms.
This guy will 100% have a screaming crash out in this panel, guaranteed. Where's my poly market vote? Oh, that should be my first sponsor play. Fuck.
So
You
one of the
will
big issues is
100%.
that many of those people were extremely
sec.
pro like Andrew Cuomo with some scandals. Like the women involved in the NYT piece recently, many of them advocated for political prisoners who are here on visas if they criticize Israel and write like a pro-Palestinian op-ed, like that one a woman did Ozturk after she got kidnapped by the band of ICE thugs. They were in favor of that, and they're in favor of lying about the 2020 election. So when many of the people who are making the criticisms are also very flawed.
What does that have to do with Graham Plattner shoving her and locking her into a closet after ripping her out of a like? This is the thing that Hutch is trying to say. You can say blue no matter who. I'm gonna hold my nose. You don't have to try to denigrate all of the people who were allegedly victims of his and downplay just how bad of a person he seems to be based on the character that he's proven not just 10, 15 years ago, but in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of his life. Why the need to go down this road? It's not necessary to defend him in this way.
I
Well,
agree. You
just to
shouldn't
be
be
clear, I'm planning on
attacking any
going down the
victim.
same
Hold
line
on,
of
hold on,
attack.
PvP. Let Jella finish. Jella finish, and then
I'm
I'll let
sorry.
you
Go ahead.
When it comes to believing all women, we should always start at that point so we don't just reject anything outright. Now, when it comes to the article about Graham Plattner, I believe I saw Rokana talking about this and a few other Democrats. I think it's okay to accept that he was, a bad person coming out of the military. One of the biggest things that he talks about, whether you think it's genuine or not, is about him finding community, finding service, finding his wife, and finding a better life for himself after serving and being abused by our war machine in Iraq.
That he signed up for
so
voluntarily and was excited to go and kill people, and up until 2020 was saying that he absolutely volunteered and was happy about his service. And then he went to go volunteer, and then he went to go volunteer after that as well.
American soldiers.
I'm just saying, okay,
That's
so
not
this
what
is
I'm
the big issue. When you have Donald Trump being the biggest piece of shit this planet has ever known, you have like in the Senate,
You
Tommy
can hate Donald Trump
What about
without
when you have like
defending
Tommy
Graham
Tuberville
Plattner.
advocating for the
It's
annihilation
easy
of
to
all
do those
Muslims
two
after
things.
Muslims get shot in a mosque, when you have Republicans being deplorable human beings, no one's going to listen to you guys crying,
Tommy
crying about this.
Tuberville
Because
part of the main Democratic
the standard is
primary?
gone now
Because it
because of
seems
Trump
outside the
politics. The
scope of
standard,
the
if
conversation.
Republicans want things to be better, they got to make things better again. They ruin the standard themselves.
Okay, I want to hear from.
They need to make things better
just
in
real
the
quick,
Democratic
Polly, please.
primary?
Please. I
Yeah.
want to hear from PvP, and then I want to hear from Alice, and then if Mooten's got some thoughts, and Hutch as well.
No, I want to at least be polite enough to give one back to my opponents here. I as far as I remember from the New York Times article, she indicated that she was pushed into a room, not a closet. I think it's kind of important for us to be careful about our language here because we don't want to be claiming things that are stronger than what has actually been asserted. That said, pushing somebody into a room and shutting the door behind them is not necessarily that much better than pushing them into a closet. But I do think that the framing is important. And for what it's worth, I don't even need the New York Times article to prove that Graham Plattner is a liar about critically important issues of character. So I will open the floor back up.
Alice,
It is choice to open the floor. King.
I'm a little curious to dive into more, I guess, that later whenever it's convenient, about what the path to replace him, what we mean by that, whether that's the demand to replace him or like who will do it or like any strategy around that.
I just think it's totally unrealistic for anybody to come within 24 hours and replace him. I understand that
well, July 13th
still on the
is
ballot.
what we're talking about.
Sure, I guess, but why do you want him replaced?
Because I don't think he respects women. There's reason to believe there's even more allegations that make him more unelectable regardless. And I do not trust him to reliably legislate for even the goals that he claims he has.
I want him to be replaced because I have serious doubts that he's going to be able to weather the storm. I mean, I'll support him if, assuming he's locked in, but I would prefer a generic Democrat at this point.
Who would you want
to
replace?
We all assume that there's going to be an October surprise, right? Does anybody on the panel not think that there's going to be an October surprise?
What can be more surprising other than criminal allegations? Which, if it was criminal, if there's corroborated evidence,
I mean, there are
here,
already allegedly there are 2 women who were known to the New York Times who were not published in this article with claims of sexual assault against him, and according to Lindsay Fifield, the named alleged victim of Graham Plattner, according to her, they are currently weighing their options of how to present their story to the public. So yes, there is very likely more to come out.
Who's
going to
pay the most for the story?
I am not a gambling man. And I don't want to make this bet, but if you put a gun to my head, I would bet you money we're going to see Graham Plattner's penis by the end of this, okay? That does not make me happy to say, but that is my realistic assessment of what we currently know about him and where we are probably headed.
I was going to say that could get him more votes. I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. I don't know either.
I just think we're probably at critical mass with this guy. To me, when I look at Plattner, What worries me is that it does feel very familiar to me. It looks a lot like MAGA. You don't even have to squint your eyes that much. And so I don't know. I feel like if SA claims came out, I feel like we would see a similar reaction where
would you still support him
if he's locked in? Yeah.
One of his recent quote
hang on,
was,
Hutch.
I'm
Hold
not
on,
going to
hold on, both of you, please. Both of you, please.
Well,
Hutch. So even if he had like 2 rape allegations against him or grape allegations against him, you'd still support him?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a limit to the number of grape allegations that you would be like, okay, maybe this is too much grape?
Maybe theoretically. I mean, it would have to be really, really,
Maybe 100?
really bad.
I mean,
It would
my
have to
favorite
be
streamer,
really
my
bad.
favorite
He would
streamer
vote for a
Hutch
pedophile
did
without
say
a boy.
he did say several times that he would vote for Plattner even if it came out that he murdered a man 20 years ago and got away with
Truly.
it. And I know you're being
Committees are.
tongue in cheek
I'm
to
not.
an extent. But no, I think that is
really
the
on that one.
calculation. And listen, I think to be fair, and again, this is just so obviously reminiscent of 2016, right? This is I could shoot a man on Fifth Avenue and people would still vote for me. And Plattner might be proven right by this. And I think this is just, if it was a mistake for Republicans to vote Trump in 2016, I think it will also be a mistake to vote Plattner in 2026.
But you voted for Trump in 2024, so clearly it doesn't matter. Don't let people beat you over the head with your own standards when they don't have any. We have to stop this from happening, okay?
Well, I mean, I'm a partisan Democrat. I think the Republican Party is pretty uniquely dangerous right now, and they've been for years, but it's just gotten so much worse. And so, to me, the difference between having a Senate majority and not having a Senate majority, I'd be willing to look past just like so
doesn't
many.
even
deplorable
guarantee.
things.
Hold on,
Doesn't
Holly,
even
please,
guarantee a
just
Senate
real quick.
majority.
Well, you can't. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball, right? Like I can't.
I do.
flip in order to get this.
Or I mean, Kyle Kalinske does. Fuck.
Mooten, same
Yeah.
question to you, because I've heard Hutch talk about this, but I haven't heard you talk about this. How, like, say the sexual assault allegations did drop and they were credible and they were severe. Would you still support him even after that?
As my good friend said, I would support Hitler over the current Republican Party as long as they would vote Democrat 90% of the time.
True.
I don't care. I want the committees. I want.
Oh, snap. So you like Fetterman?
Fetterman
More
votes
than a Republican.
Democrat most of the time. Do I want him primaried? Yes, but am I happy with him right now? Absolutely, I'd have him over any Republican. Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Wait, just to be really clear, really quick, are we talking about, because with the Fifield story, New York Times said they read her diary, they read her text messages, read her social media, they found zero corroboration whatsoever. So are you saying that, so that's one of the reasons why it's difficult to...
That's not exactly what they said.
That's
And again,
what they-
she'll be able
word
to
for word they
publish
said
all
that.
of this.
For Hutch,
Am I crazy? Or does her cadence and the way she speaks and everything just a little bit sound a little bit like Lav? Am I like sometimes when she comes in, I feel like, yeah, okay.
Lewin, if you found out
That's
2
not
years
word
ago
for word.
there is video evidence of him assaulting someone, are you saying it would go that far? If there's actual
Is he
evidence?
going to vote Democrat?
Okay, just
All
checking.
right, then would.
Okay,
What if he made a grape tape?
Like, Jesus.
He not only raped a woman, but he recorded it and he's been saving this in his house. And there's evidence that he watches it periodically 3 times a week to get off. Would that change your assessment?
It's hard to know where the line is, but there is a line that a candidate could cross where it would have such a drag effect on the rest of the party that I would be in favor of someone like Collins winning, but I don't think we're there yet. Cross that bridge when we get there, but it would have to be really, really bad. And again, just like having control of those subcommittees, during the second part of Trump's second term, that's a really big deal. I mean, they're going to be able to issue
Controlling
Supreme
subpoenas.
Court nominees?
If all of the other states go the way that you want them to, also, it's a huge gamble, and it's not even like his race is determinative in the way the presidential race is determinative in that way. He could win, and you guys could still not have control of the Senate. And then it's like everyone holding their nose. I'll let the rapist, murderer, or whatever in, and then we can even get control of the Senate. And just one more thing, and hold on, let me just say this really quickly. Just in terms of Susan Collins, I understand the animosity towards the Republican Party. I think this negative polarization is really unhealthy for our country, so I wish it weren't so. But Susan Collins, people point to the way that she's voted under Trump and say, oh, she has something like a 90, even 95% voting record of voting for Trump. But under the Biden administration, she had a 50% voting record of voting with Biden. So she is not the evil caricature of a partisan Republican that everyone wants her to be. And again,
50%? You think that's good? It's like putting a pulse ox on somebody and the blood oxygenation level is like 75%. You're like, it's not the best, but they're okay. This person is dying, by the way. Like, what kind of a... Do you think that what kind of a comparison is that? I don't know. Never mind. Okay.
Again, kicking her out of this seat does not even guarantee that you guys will have control of the Senate, but it does guarantee that you have a guy with all of this baggage in your party now, and it's hard to get people out once they're in. We know this.
To me, Tali, this is the weakest part of your argument because like we don't have a crystal ball, so like we just can't know. We have to flip 4 seats. We have to we have to run perfect defense.
Let Hutch finish.
Real quick, we have to defend Georgia. We have to defend Michigan. Or is Michigan? Would we have to flip it? Is that a red seat?
Michigan?
Don't let Hasan hear that.
No, it's a Democratic seat right now.
We have to flip Alaska. We have to flip Maine. We have to flip Texas.
We could do it without Maine, but it's harder to see. You have to really kind of squint to see the path. And we don't operate with certainty. So it's possible, that we elect him, we're still in the minority, and then he's this liability. But I can't think like that. I just have to maximize.
I would rather him than a Republican, even if he is a liability. He's more often to vote with the Dems. He's going to help with stopping Supreme Court nominees and all of that. I mean, it's a win-win. It's a win.
If I may, to Hutch or to Mooten, right? Because you seem to be making a similar point here, and you were.
Wait, I don't get the shitty map. This is saying that for the Senate, sometimes they might be red and blue. How are you supposed to know how many senators they have from each party?
Both very, very open and direct about your sort of answer. So again, I'm not giving you.
Don't let us on clip that one. Oh shit!
A hard time here. I just would like a straight answer. So yes, we don't have a crystal ball, but I would like to pose to you that when you say, "Oh, well, whatever, he's a liability," would you like every Democrat to have to answer the question, "How much did you know about the Nazi tattoo? You think he's a Nazi?" It doesn't even matter, right? Between all of us on this panel, it doesn't even matter what the actual substance of that is. Do you want every other Democrat to have to answer for that for 6 years?
No, of course not. I don't like him as a candidate. It's the least bad option for me. Like I really wish
it's less bad for you to have every Democrat up and down the ballot for 6 years answer the question, "Are you a Nazi?"
When has any senator ever been that important? What is this world where somebody's running for the Senate and some of the states like, what do you think about you're running for the Senate of California? What about the Senate? What about the senator in Maine? How do you feel? It's like, who the fuck? Does this happen?
Get the Senate some other way?
I can forgive a little hyperbole, but I don't think the senator's going to be asked for 6 years straight if they knew about his fucking.
Just real quick.
Kind of a big
but you
one,
understand,
right? It's kind of a bomb that you want to not necessarily throw underneath your own team.
Yeah, of course, but nonetheless, like the main voters have. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the reasons that at least I'm hesitant to support this man, even if he gets locked.
Oh, true. Just hit him with the what? What? You hit him with the.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Right after July 13th is one of the problems we're going to have is everyone, because this race has been nationalized. Everyone's like, Alaska is going to run against Plattner. Texas is going to run against Plattner, right? All the seats that we need to keep are going to be running against Plattner, right? That's what they're going to be painting every single Democrat candidate as, and they'll put out all the endorsements that other Democrat senators and other Democrat politicians and influencers have been trotting out and say these are all indicative of what the Democratic Party is, and I think he's going to be a net drain on the ticket.
I'm just so curious. I'm trying to think. Does this really happen? Where the rest of the party is attacked by some senatorial, is that what you would say, candidates in other states? I feel like maybe if like the president directly endorses them, maybe. But otherwise, I feel like races are a bit more local than that.
The Republican votes, Wick. They like the tattoo, probably.
True.
He's white too. He has that white power with him. So
yeah, they're gonna be excited. They're gonna be like, all right, you know what? They got
Dude,
that guy.
Alaska's
He's
gonna
a
be lit,
boy.
bro. Yeah.
And I also don't want my party.
Hey, unironically, I agree with you guys. That is probably one thing that Plattner has going for him. He will probably pick up the racist dickhead vote. Okay, but I don't think that's something you should be proud of or cheering about.
My whole premise is like you don't have to. Some of the defensive Plattner that I've been seeing on social media is like truly fucking insane. Like it seems like the populist brain rot has really metastasized, and it just looks so similar. It cannot be overstated just how similar it is to MAGA, like the same exact 1-to-1 defenses. You don't have to do that. I think you can treat the voters like adults and just give them the straight story. And frankly, Wick, I just don't think the Republicans have a strong leg to stand on when it comes to candidate equality. You know what I mean? Like,
but we're not competing against the Republicans. Yep. We're competing against the couch. And
but you said that the Republicans are going to try to.
But that's what I'm saying. They're going to draw comparisons and they're going to be effective at it. And the people who will stay home, there are going to be a lot of those. Right?
But my point is, I don't know how effective they can be when the Republican Party has had a candidate equality problem that is 100 times worse than the Democrats for years now.
Because I want to put it right to your face, okay? We got a candidate equality problem over here in Maine. We got a candidate equality problem in Texas with Paxton, right?
Yeah.
But we also have a candidate equality problem in Texas with Tallarico. And all I disagree is a little tip of the scale, and yes, Paxton will beat Tallarico.
I think Tallarico is going to win Texas, and I think that little adorable Christian twink is going to be president one day. That's how strong of a candidate
I can go president, but I think he will win Texas.
I'm not here.
Like, are you telling me that somebody's going to be running for Senate in fucking Texas, and they're going to be running ads about Plattner? I guess. I mean, I guess it's not impossible, but I feel like this is going to be such a minority of the spending. That just seems wild to me. Or in some other state that's not as like national news, and they're going to be running anti-Plattner ads. I don't know, man.
Here to talk shit on Tallarico. I'm just saying in the space that we're talking about Plattner, that all
he's not. You called him a problematic candidate,
scales,
though. He's not a problematic candidate.
Well,
He's fine. He's a strong candidate.
People argue his like comments on like trans kids or whatever is going to be problematic, but I think that it's a nothing burger overall.
I agree with that. It's mostly a nothing burger. I just think it's that Texas isn't, necessarily particularly what's the word here, receptive to blue messaging. Like Texas isn't necessarily unflippable, but you need to have the right message. And if we're talking about what is the totality of circumstances with Plattner, the totality of circumstances is he's going to affect other races.
I have a question for everybody.
Go ahead.
Just everybody, because this might help us a little bit lead the conversation. So, who do you think is a more deplorable political figure? I want everyone to answer. Graham Plattner or Ken Paxton?
Paxton.
Don't know. They're both.
I'm not even sure I understand the question because you phrased it as deplorable political figure, and that makes it like 1,000 times.
Okay, bad. Just, I don't think it's bad. You know what I mean?
Who's worse, Graham Plattner or Paxton?
What's the point?
Yep.
I am going to go ahead and bite the bullet and say I think Plattner's worse specifically because he lies about things that he's been caught lying about. It's not even about lying about things you don't want to get caught about. It's about lying.
Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary independent voter. This is them. This is the legendary independent. When people are given a ballot or a polling question and they're like, I'm undecided on these two. There they are. Tally over here is like, oh, he's kind of cooking actually, maybe. Yeah, Jesus.
Lying about things that you've already been caught about. If Paxton has done the same stuff, then I will go ahead and say equally bad. But if I'm picking between the two based on what I already know, Plattner is worse because he lies when he has already been caught lying.
What's the point of this? Would you rather?
Hey, y'all, fuck. The next question should be, someone should ask if you had to vote, if you had to vote for a senator and it was Plattner versus Paxton to represent the Dems, ? Who would you choose? Would this guy really say Paxton would be like a better, less harmful candidate?
Because we're talking about Tallarico being an underwhelming candidate. I'm just saying, like, when we have moderates or centrists, and some of you announce yourselves that way, it's just like, why are Republicans able to run big piles of dog shit? Like, Ken Paxton looks like he was sent from hell and the devil melted half of his face, and he's a terrible person. He cheats on his family. He's so corrupt. He steals $1,000 pens from other freaking lawyers because he's such an asshole. And meanwhile, Tallarico is a great candidate. It just makes no sense.
Well, yeah, but they don't really care, so they'll throw attacks against us, so we don't vote.
Also, the Republican Party, their bread and butter is like attacking women and minorities. So it's really hard for them, I feel like, a white guy like Graham Plattner. And that's a white privilege part for Graham, which I definitely agree with. And probably why he's winning in Maine, which is like one of the whitest places, obviously in the country. So it's definitely going to help him, but I think that makes it harder. I think it genuinely does make it harder for them to weaponize Graham Plattner.
I think Democratic Senate candidates and other Democrats in other races should just throw Plattner under the bus. Just who was was it Warner? Was it Warner? Just straight up say like, yeah, this is disturbing. This is, but ultimately this is up to the voters of Maine. It's not a lie. You know what I mean?
100%. Like for once, I'm actually straight up with you 100%. I'll throw him under the bus, and it's up to the voters of Maine.
Yeah.
Say what Moon said. Say what Moon said every time. Like Republicans should love him. Just say that like over and over again.
That's why I don't think there's any virtue in this blue no matter who advocacy for Graham Plattner, because what we're seeing is just the rise of MAGA, and the more we center him, the more he's just becoming a role model to a really problematic strain of slopulism, and it's getting sexist really, really, really fast. I'm already getting called bitch a lot, over this week, speaking up on this. It's here. It's coming faster than we think. Throw him under the bus.
The slopulists, the socialists hate women and minorities.
Distance him. We should focus our energy on other things. He deserves no additional defense that he can gain with his own campaign in the state of Maine.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Moon.
If you had to vote for senator, either Plattner or Paxton, who are you choosing?
Plattner.
No, I don't even think that's a fair question. What state do they represent? They're running in two different states, dude.
I mean,
ask him if they were the same
senator, so they're going through.
Oh
to
no,
represent the whole United States,
that's
kind of, right?
absolutely not the same question. If we're asking
If you can't even engage, oh my God.
if they're representing
Okay,
Maine, or if we're asking if they're
let's say if they're representing Maine.
He's going to say, well, there are different political parties. Oh my God.
Who would you rather vote for? That's really going to change your opinion which state it is?
Absolutely, because I think it would be really, really, really easy to replace Graham Plattner in Maine. So if we're asking that question about Texas, that's a much harder question for me, because now I'm really thinking about that. But if you're asking me that about Maine, then no, that's significantly easier.
Should we go for Plattner there? I assume, right?
So who would you vote for?
In Maine?
Sure.
No, I'm. Don't say sure. It's your question.
I've already asked it twice now. Who would you vote for in Maine?
He would say Plattner for sure, at least.
Hey, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just trying to be clear here. In Maine, I would probably refuse to vote. Is my answer.
Okay.
And again, I'm saying that full-throatedly. No.
It was even a stupid. It wasn't even the best question. He could have just had to give me and say, "I guess I'd vote Plattner." What? This is the centrists, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, really?
No waffling, no trying to trick around your question.
I appreciate
Because
answering it.
I am an independent, I am not a Democrat, I am not a partisan, and if you gave me that choice in the state of Maine, my answer would be, I'm staying home, it doesn't make a difference. I have two
But this doesn't matter.
complete flaming jackasses, and it is
Unreal,
not
dude.
helpful to me in any way whatsoever to put my thumb on that scale, because whether I get what I want or I don't get what I want, I will have tarnished my own reputation by having said that I was willing to have that person represent me. So I would vote third party, I would write in, and I know my vote would go to waste. And I would do that on purpose.
Briefly, how do you feel like the second Trump term is going? Like, do you think
Pretty bad.
And for what it's worth, I voted Harris, and I said that at the top of the
No, but I'm saying, like, one of the reasons why it's so important for me that the Democrats take back the Senate is because of the oversight. Like, they're going to be able to use that.
No, I understand that, but you need to understand there are voters that are like me, right? And I'm not here to say I am some paragon of how everybody who's like me is going to vote, right? But I was asked a tough question. If we were running Plattner versus Paxton in Maine, how would you vote? And I gave you my honest answer. I would refuse to vote for either of them.
Right, but you said you're.
I just hate, dude. The political environment we exist in right now is just absolutely fucking unbelievable. Oh my God.
Your morals wouldn't let you, like, look at yourself in the mirror and say that you supported this candidate, but, like, I guess to me, I focus on the larger structural problem. Like, so, would your morals allow you to look yourself in the mirror when you knew that this?
I'm not a partisan, Hutch.
No, I'm not saying anything about.
I'm not partisan.
Let him ask.
I'm not partisan. I'm not part of this. The independents love it. I'm not partisan. I'm not part of your political party, man. I'm an independent thinker, man. They're all the same, man.
His question, please.
That's why I asked you how do you feel about the Trump administration? You said it fucking sucks, and so, like, I'm asking you, do you think that the Trump administration right now needs oversight? Do you think that the Congress needs to rein this? Okay, so I don't understand how your morals wouldn't.
Congress is made of 535 people. One person does not fix or change that. It's full
majority.
of 535 fucking cowards.
Nominee.
A
It's
majority.
full of cowards.
Changes that.
Well, I think
don't even-
what's being missed and how we're talking past each other a little bit, and I think Alice may have touched on this earlier. It might have been Tally, one of the two. It's a gamble. It's a gamble to put our support, to put our backing behind this guy when it might not actually put a check on the power, right? And so we're betting that he's going to be able to beat Collins, which isn't necessarily the case, right? I do not. I think that Collins has won by being further behind than she is now, right, in the polls. And two, if he does win, will we win enough to flip the Senate? And those are two big gambles for people. And even someone like me who hates Trump, thinks Trump is one of the worst presidents of all time and is doing damage to this country in a way that we will take generations to repair. I don't know. I don't know if I could pull that lever for him.
Yeah, but there's no we, Wick. It's not up to us. It's up to the voters of Maine. Like, and they seem to be. Yeah, go ahead, Tali.
Sorry, I just want to ask a hypothetical because now I'm kind of interested to get at actually the way that people are weighing the morality of the alleged crimes in these matters. So back to the Ken Paxton versus Graham Plattner scenario. They're both running in Maine or Texas. You can take them separately. What if they're both running in Democrats in a primary? Who are you supporting?
Support Paxton.
What if they say again?
Wait, what?
They're
You
both running
support
what?
Paxton if they both run blue?
As
If they're both
Democrats,
gonna
I
vote
agree with
Democrat?
that, obviously, because Paxton is not accused of physically.
I'm sorry. I don't know anything about politics. I'm so sorry. I don't know anything. I fucked up again. Hold on. Who is Paxton? He's running. Paxton was the attorney general under Abbott, right? The guy who was impeached. The guy who was helping Abbott ship off fucking over 100,000 illegal immigrants to other fucking places. Did I misunderstand the question? Hold on. I must have misunderstood it. Hold on. I must have misunderstood the question. I'm so confused right now. Hold on.
Tali.
Sorry, I just want to ask a hypothetical because now I'm kind of interested to get at actually the way that people are weighing the morality of the alleged crimes in these matters. So back to the Ken Paxton versus Graham Plattner scenario. They're both running in Maine or Texas. You can take them separately. What if they're both running in Democrats in a primary? Who are you supporting?
Support Paxton.
What if they were say again?
Hutch didn't understand the question. He just didn't understand the question. Hutch didn't understand the question.
if they're
You
both running
support
what?
Paxton if they both run blue?
No.
As
If they're both
Democrats,
Democrats,
I
gonna vote
agree with
Democrat?
that, obviously, because Paxton is not accused of physically assaulting and
Oh
abusing
my
women.
God.
So yes, I agree with that. Yeah, my question is if they're
Hold on,
both
no,
running
just
in a
real quick before you
Democratic
go on, I
primary.
want to get everyone on record
No. Hutch misunderstood the question. He was typing. Hutch, there's no way Hutch understood that question correctly.
with this question. It's a good question.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, in the primary, in the Democratic primary, Mooten, Paxton versus Plattner. Who you pulling that level for?
Oh, no. That's the question? Sorry.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Okay. I was like, we burned too many bridges lately. I can't throw him on the Connor bus. No, he misunderstood. Okay, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a
I would vote for
Democratic
Plattner. I would
primary.
vote for
Sorry,
Plattner.
was
Easily.
Paxton involved in January 6th at all?
He was involved in so much stupid shit.
Assume that he's
How do you get impeached from Texas conservatives? He got impeached. The Senate acquitted him, but Jesus Christ.
running as a Democrat. He's a full-throated
yeah.
Democrat.
Yeah,
that
no,
you
but
believe
still,
that
still the question
that
remains.
you believe
was he
that he
involved in
will
January
vote.
6th? I don't actually know.
I don't know. about that
If
either.
he was involved in
Paxton was the AG when Texas was trying to not expropriate, what do you call it? Extradite like that doctor from New York for shipping like a Plan B pill or whatever, right? Was Paxton the one who initially was trying to argue for like the abortion bounty hunters that you could bro, there's but he misunderstood that. Hutch misunderstood that. No one else knows anything about Paxton. I understand.
January 6th, I'm voting Plattner every
Googling
time.
right
I haven't
now.
got over Paxton much on stream because he's just like, that's just like a bad guy. It's like saying like, it's like you have like a good guy versus bad guy tournament coming up and somebody's like, can you rant off everything about Goebbels or whatever? It's like, no, I don't know the specific. I just know enough to know he's so bad. I don't even need to know that many specifics, right? Paxton is like that guy. 100%. Like,
Oh, let me help you answer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Okay, if he
somehow.
wasn't, if he was not involved in January 6th, and he
he was AG when Texas was trying to challenge the election results. He led the charge. Was he the guy? Was he leading the? Did he file the Texas v. Pennsylvania case? Because I don't know if the state attorney general is the one who would be or if it would be something else. But this was when Texas didn't like, I think, the way that Pennsylvania did mail-in ballots, and they were like, "We're going to sue Pennsylvania because we don't like how that state is voting for president." It's bro. Oh my God, it's okay. Give me. It was filed by Paxton. This guy is actual. Oh my God, just look at him, bro. He looks like a bad guy. All the conservatives look like bad guys. They look like bad guys too. I'm sorry.
if he was a lifelong Democrat, even.
It
the
doesn't
two
really
of
matter
them.
if he's a lifelong Democrat because I'm just weighing like the abhorrent shit that they've done.
Right. That's my
He
point.
was present. But it doesn't sound like he marched into the Capitol.
Well, he gave
He
a
was
speech
present,
touting
and he
his
did give a speech.
unsuccessful legal effort to overturn the 2020 presidential.
Yeah, I go Plattner then. That's easy.
I mean, he was like Paxton was impeached by his own party in the state legislature in Texas for bribery, just like
corruption,
open
yes.
corruption. I mean,
Not
he's so much
good.
worse. He's
Open
so much worse.
So much
than-
worse. Thank you, Hutch.
than
Thank
Plattner.
you. Thank you.
Plattner
Thank
has a
you.
messy past. But Plattner has a
Well,
messy past. He's got some fucking messy interpersonal
He has a
relationships.
messy present.
He's got a yes,
He
I
has a
agree.
messy
I agree.
present.
I
Yeah.
agree. But I'm just saying,
I
like
think
the reason.
some of these things exhibit worse moral character. That's why I am actually surprised by these answers. If we're talking about the moral character of these people and not loading it with the parties, because again, I think it's completely logical and rational to make
Did
a
you
blue
vote
no
for
matter
President
who
Trump?
vote.
Yep.
I did. Yeah.
Oh, how could you even say that? Just fucking put Plattner in a room without any women. Boom. Problem solved. Who cares? Oh my God.
Yikes, we're talking about
I
moral
know.
character
Woo.
here, and you voted for him.
Yes, exactly. And I think that it was a huge mistake for
Ask her if Kamala would have been better. Ask her if Kamala would have been better.
Listen, this conversation is not about my personal
my
political
God.
journey. We can have another conversation if you would like to. But I think as someone who voted for Trump in 2024 and I have very different opinions about the way that my vote looks now, close to 2 years after, I still wish that Trump never won in 2016. I don't think any of this is healthy for our country, for our politics.
It's not, Tally. I'm not.
I
I'm
would
not.
like to-
I'm not making the
Sorry,
argument
Hutch,
that
if you want-
Plattner
Let
is.
Hutch go.
like-
Let Hutch go. Then you can go after. Hutch, please.
I'm not making the argument that Plattner is like good for the party. I don't think he's good for the party, but he is the candidate that the voters have main chose. So surely you can understand someone with the perspective of like a Democratic Party partisan who genuinely feels like the Republican Party are very dangerous. Like people are getting hurt because of these policies, because of these judges that are handing down these decisions. And so
Hutch, not only
like it's
not
just a
only
different
can I
kind of moral
understand it,
calculation.
Not only can I understand
affected.
it, that's what I said at the top also. I think it's completely logical and rational. Not only can I understand it, I think Republicans and Republican-leaning independents are in a bit of a bind here because essentially this is what the Republicans do. It's bad to lose. That losing is losing, right? And that you should try to win at any cost, even if you have to hold your nose to do it. So yes, I agree. The Republicans are not in good standing to make this argument. But I'm asking each person here to like look into their own soul and to weigh these things and to think about what is best for this country. So yes, I do understand the calculation as a partisan to want.
When you're a Democrat, you have to think about what's best for the country. When you're a Republican, just think about what's best for you and your party right now.
Power for your party because you believe that there's existential threat in the opposite party. However, again, just especially. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, ideally, someone like Plattner wins, helps us win a majority, and then we have a strong nominee in 2028, someone who can maybe like begin to repair some of the damage, to take off the attention from Plattner. Like we need like a generational talent, someone who's perceived as an outsider, maybe like Ossoff. That's kind of like a.
I'm not running this election cycle. Sorry, Hutch. I forget. Well, you'll have to.
Just want to say the thing I'm most scared of is Thomas and Alito. If the Dems don't win the Senate, retiring, and then Donald Trump getting 2 more Supreme Court nominee picks.
Yeah, that's just
that is a real possibility. Thomas is 76, about to be 77. Alito 75. So I'm definitely scared of that. I would almost vote for any Democrat at this point.
That's why I question your willingness to sign up with Mr. Liar Nazi.
Oh my God.
Is a demonstrated
he
liar.
seems like the one right now who is going to win and going
hang
to be
on,
the one
because
who can move forward.
Hutch, it's
We don't have
wild.
data on polls since the most recent allegations dropped.
Oh
Yeah,
my
what-
God!
what do
I'm
you think he's lying
sorry.
about? You think he's gonna
Cope,
basically, like,
that's
vote
a
for the
massive
Republican
cope.
nominee?
I love all
wanna get into
my
that,
libs
but
here,
first
but
it's
that is
fucking
a
wild
huge
you would say
cope.
that the voters of Maine have already chosen him because the election isn't until fucking tomorrow, dude. So I'm the guy who's literally in here, and I described myself as the pissed off independent. So
Do you want to bet $1,000 with 100 to 1 odds that he will win the primary tomorrow?
I am not saying that I am betting that he's going to not win the primary. I am saying
I'll
that
give you
I am here
100 to
to
1
very
odds.
explicitly press all of you to say, hey, if you actually care about Democrats, if y'all are the partisans that you say you are, then you
I
should take
tried,
this-
bro. I
then you should
fucking
take this
tried. I
very
tried.
serious-
I
you
advocated for
should take
Jordan
this
Wood
very
months
seriously,
ago.
and you should invite.
I want to hear from Alice, then Mooten, then yeah, go.
Oh, I advocated for Jordan Wood months ago. There's 24 hours before the primary. Independents can come out and vote and do whatever they want in 24 hours. I don't give you good odds on that. There is until July 13th at 5 p.m. The chance for the Democratic Party to pressure him to step down, and the Democratic Party can appoint someone in his place.
That can't.
And
That
any
would be a
generic Dem would do
nightmare.
better.
You
We do
can't
not
do
have
that. I'm so
loophole on
sorry.
how
That would
well
be a
he's doing
fucking
since those
nightmare.
recent allegations came out.
You
He's running
can't.
not against Ken Paxton, but against a woman who is coded herself as a moderate and a reliable representative of the state. It's not looking good for Plattner long term. Yeah.
I don't love his odds, but I tried. I've been saying for months this guy's a fucking bonehead, and like if the party was smart, then if the voters of Maine were smart, they would go a different way with it. But
Too bad Chuck
Well,
Schumer.
what's sad is Mills.
But who? Why, the Democrats didn't put anybody up. Who was running against? Who was running against him besides the Mills? I mean, and she fucking got crushed, right? So I mean, what are you gonna say? They couldn't find another 80-year-old to run against him. It is what it is. Like,
Mills
Chuck
dropped
Schumer's
out.
fault.
Joel,
I
jump
wish
in.
you
You can
would've
be
whistled
quiet.
Yeah, hold on.
It's definitely Chuck Schumer's fault. This whole thing happened. Chuck Schumer is the reason why Janet Mills came in and pushed out all of the other, promising candidates. There was Jordan Woods. Alice, is it Wood or Woods? Do you know?
I think it's Wood.
Wood.
He switched to a Congress race.
Yeah, he's running for Congress now. And there was another candidate too who was an outsider. I forget. I think he owned like a brewing company. He was like an outsider business type person. I forget his name, but I saw his ad and it was pretty good. It was like a Mamdani type ad even at the time. And
Wow.
Schumer came in and gave no support to insurgent candidates, no support to grassroots candidates that might be promising for the future. No, he called whoever was on his. He has like a regular flip phone. Whoever is on a speed dial. He called up Janet Mills, and Janet Mills put no effort into her campaign. She did no events. She was not going to have a debate.
She didn't get any
with
support.
Plattner. She kind of
She
gave
didn't get
up. Yeah, they couldn't raise any money, but they never really went hard to even try. They just put out messages about Plattner being
She's also
toxic,
really
and
fucking
that's just not going to grip voters as much as it did.
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I wouldn't fight you on that. I'm frustrated
agree
with
with you.
Schumer.
But this is my question though. This is my thing about the Democratic Party. Is one of the reasons why progressives are successful sometimes in these races is because they can find whatever talent. And no matter what you think about Plattner, he knows how to campaign. He knows how to put an ad together. His voice, Hutch does a really good Plattner voice on the stream. Definitely recommend checking that out. Probably the best Plattner voice that I've seen so far. You got to practice that for everyone that has PDS.
I have a question.
Plattner doing
They
it.
want to talk about my personal life, and they don't want to talk about policy in Maine.
Yeah, exactly. But like, why can the center of the party not find new candidates who are promising, put money behind them? Instead, we have like Jim Clyburn refusing to retire and refusing to allow other leaders to rise up in their races or even in the party.
I don't know why you say this when the centrist establishment wing just have by far a better track record when it comes to like running successful candidites and can win in competitive districts. I don't know where.
Oh,
Yeah, go
sorry. Isn't the reason Clyburn's not retiring the fact that like South Carolina isn't changing their maps because like if they did, South Carolina would probably like burn down. So I kind of
No,
think
they did change the map.
Sure,
They did change the
they
map.
left.
No,
They
no,
left the
I think you got a
Clyburn
point, Mooten.
They left the Clyburn
Clyburn
seat.
is running for literally the same reason that Collins is.
I think South Carolina did get the votes or something to change their maps, and then for whatever reason they didn't. But I think they could, but they chose not to, I believe, because that Clyburn district I think was conservative.
Because they've been there for fucking ever, and they have seniority on their what the hell's the word for it? Their you know what I'm trying to say here. Their
It passed the House, but not the Senate. Oh, is that what it was? I thought they got all the votes they needed in both houses, and they just didn't. They didn't change it for whatever
you know what I'm
reason.
saying.
So I guess it
Yeah,
wasn't
thank you. Committees, thank you. There we go. They're senior on their committees. Clyburn is running because he's super senior on his committee in the exact same way that Collins is running because she's super senior on her committee.
Clyburn has a shitload of clout in South Carolina. He has the support of the voters in South Carolina.
here's
So,
the
if
thing.
he
I'm
wants to
not
run again,
disputing
go for it.
that, and I apologize for getting us derailed over me not remembering a word, but that's all I was getting at. Is that
fine.
yes, of course, they're like yes, he's running.
Did you see the beheading video in Ireland that just happened? No, I usually watch beheading videos after stream. Why the fuck would I have just seen a beheading video? What the fuck kind of question is that, bro? Go play some Stardew Valley. Jesus Christ, YouTube chatter.
Again, because he's got seniority in the exact same way that, yes, of course, Collins is running again because she has seniority. Remember, I'm not a partisan. I look at these things and I see them from both sides
I'm not a partisan. I've actually found a way to feel more intelligent than both sides.
of the aisle. Also, I'd like to hear more from Alice.
Well, let me run my panel. We'll get there, okay? I promise you.
No, I'm apologizing
yeah,
for being a
you're
jerk
fine,
and taking
you're
too much
fine.
time.
Wait, Hutch asked me a question. Can I respond to Hutch
Yes,
really quick
you
about
can
that?
respond. That's where I was trying to take us before anyone else jumps in.
I would say to Hutch that some of those races were a result of progressives pushing centrist or more centrist candidates to be better.
Oh my god.
And like I think about the race of Nancy Pelosi's old district with a Scott Weiner, I believe his name is, being able to win. He's still a very progressive candidate. And Tallarico was seen as the more centrist candidate in Texas. And his interviews are like, we are the top versus the bottom. The billionaire class is paying everyone to not fight, to make us fight each other instead of fighting the real enemy, the rich billionaire class. So
Yeah, that's all the slopulous right on the left-hand right.
the rhetoric is being borrowed. John Ossoff talks about the Epstein class. He's a Jewish man, but often that line is called when Rokana says it or Plattner says it as anti-Semitic. But that rhetoric is being used everywhere. The populist rhetoric, no matter what kind of populism it is. Even the centrist moderate candidates that are super successful, it seems like are they not adapting some of that like rhetoric at least, like Tallarico is?
It's another way that the Dems are following the Republicans down into hell. Yeah, it's another unfortunate
to,
turn
though.
in
But
our.
why are
I
they
can't.
doing that?
Her voice is like eliciting a triggered
because
response
it's
to me. Oh
popular,
my
because
god.
People like to have excuses for. People like to be able to blame other people and power and scary, conspiracies for their problems. And so it is very appealing for people to have scapegoats, whether that's the billionaire class or the deep state or the Epstein class or the Zionist class or any of these things. People like to have scapegoats for their problems. I agree these things are like, if we're talking just like purely pragmatically, I understand why people like Hutch say like, you lean into some of it, it's effective, it's gonna help you get power if you don't believe that these people are at real risk of actually going down this populist rabbit hole. But this is not healthy politics. That doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it productive. It doesn't mean that we should be rooting for it.
But my question would be then, but you compared like anti-Zionism and talk about Israel for everything, which I agree is bad with how like Hasan uses it, and also about like blaming immigrants and minorities. But we can tell in the data that those things are not like true, especially with immigrants and crime. But for the ultra wealthy, I think it is a more reasonable problem to be mad about that Elon Musk is going to be a trillionaire after he basically did currency and market manipulation to get to the point where he is in his career. And SpaceX right now is having a really
I think
weird.
class warfare is bad. I don't support class warfare. I don't support any
But
of
it's
this
happening
stuff.
from the top already in many ways.
That's a perspective. I disagree with you. I disagree with you that it's bad for Elon Musk to be superbly wealthy. That's a disagreement that we have.
But
They're
one
not
man having that much power is the question. And I'm saying versus immigration though, versus immigration as an existential threat. I feel like wealth is more of isn't it more reasonable to be mad about wealth than immigration?
Yeah, but
I think it's reasonable to have a perspective.
Just real quick, I want to hear from Hutch, and then I have a question for, and then I want to hear from Alice, and I have a question for the panel. Go ahead.
it sounds like you're trying to credit progressives for the idea of like taxing wealthy people more, but it's like welcome to the Democratic Party for the last, several decades.
True.
They already do that. Like blue states tax the highest income bracket at higher levels than red states, but sometimes by considerable margins. Obama raised taxes on wealthy people. Biden raised taxes on wealthy people. Clinton raised taxes on wealthy people, I believe, as well. So that's not really like something that the progressives came up with. They just
the populist rhetoric though, Hutch. The rhetoric. I agree that's true.
Yeah, no, it's true. We're in a bit of a populist moment right now, and
they say it
and I like Tallarico's
cooler
form of
way.
populism. It's like a lighter form of populism. Sometimes it gets a little cringe for me, but that's fine. I think that's like tactically smart right now because that's what the voters are responding to. Because populism and anger go really well together, and the electorate right now is very, very angry.
I don't like that answer, Hutch. I really don't. Like, it's like, yeah.
Well, I want to win. You know what I mean?
If racist rhetoric was effective, would you use it?
Racist rhetoric?
Yeah,
well,
if it was politically effective to be super racist, would you use that rhetoric?
I mean, probably not. No, I mean, like, I don't want the Democratic Party to
have the same problem. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know.
Go
What about Ben
to
Carson?
large the same places, right?
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. It seems like an imperfect comparison to like populism versus like racist rhetoric. I mean, I agree with you. It's a sign that things are degenerating in this country. It's not a good sign. But the best things for Democrats to do right now is to win the midterms, take back majorities, win another trifecta, get rid of the filibuster, and then deliver like really good policy like paid family leave and public option, maybe some court reform. That's the path out of this moment that we're in right now.
I'm hoping we get a bit of the Mamdani effect where they come in and then they go way more towards the middle and they move a bit from like the sloppyism and whatnot. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for Plattner and I guess Tallarico to like an extent. We'll see how that happens. It seems like when people get into Congress, they change quite a bit. So,
yeah, well, I think it's more possible with Tallarico than I do with Plattner. Alice, you were trying to say something earlier. Go ahead.
So why Graham Plattner succeeded in this race thus far is because there was a lack of significant talent to go up against him. After the last Senate race in the seat, Democrats got scared. Lots of big talent didn't want to risk it, which is why Chuck Schumer went and begged Mills to jump in, because there was not seen to be someone who could beat Collins. Jordan Wood ran a weak campaign despite having good ideas. Graham Plattner showed up locally because there was no real competition. This is a huge problem generationally, the Democratic Party, as the pipeline of typical young progressives has been subverted by the array of the Young Turks spinoffs into disengagement, where they identify with progressive values but do not volunteer with Democrats, do not become that next generation of operatives. It's a huge drought of operatives. You can go to runforsomething.net if you would like to help rectify this problem.
Okay. I agree. I think that one of the problems we're having right now is long-term versus short-term. Short-term, if we get the seat, let's say it goes as great as the pro-Plattner people, or I won't call you pro-Plattner, but the blue no matter who people, right? The blue no matter who people say. We win the seat, we get a Senate majority, we're able to do what we need to do. I still think that there is an argument, and one I'm leaning towards right now, that the long-term damage we do to our brand, to the party as a whole, to the rhetoric that is seen as winning, etc., that it just makes the world worse and America worse overall than if we
maybe
lose.
if he was running for president, but he's going to be one congressman out of over 500. You know what I mean? Like, I don't love that Fetterman is the way that he is, but he's like a mild distraction at most.
But
you know what I mean? Like,
can I jump off that?
Go ahead, Alice, please.
Oh yeah. So we should treat him like we do Fetterman, where it's one question: should he win the election and be allowed to vote on policies, which we have reasonably good hopes for, even though there's no evidence to back it up. But I'm okay with that.
No
it's
evidence. Well, he's running as a Democrat. Right?
Requires we need to positively advocate for him, because the more airtime and spotlight this guy's getting, the more of a fandom he's building and being held up as an icon. That is the cultural harm that is spreading through the internet first and culture downward nationwide, regardless of being limited to one Senate seat. Any defense for this guy, like, that's different. Should he win? Sure, that's up to voters to decide. We can all just shut up about it, and that'll probably happen.
I kind of feel like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all about him once he becomes the candidate. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah, I think if you're in Maine and you worked for Mills and all of that, I think you should be out there trying as hard as you can to win the seat. Yeah.
If you have anything nice to say about him, you shouldn't say it at all.
I disagree. I think that one of the things that's going to happen is this.
Get a panelist to say it.
Go.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead, PvP. But I have something to say. So go ahead, and then I'll say my thing. Go ahead.
Putin, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to give you a terribly hard time.
Sure.
But I am absolutely not going to vote for Plattner or anyone like him. I don't live in Maine. It's not my decision. And I think it is absolutely up to the voters of Maine. Hutch said it earlier, and I said I agreed with it, and I stand by that. But if you gave me a binary between Graham Plattner and Susan Collins, not only would I vote for Susan Collins, I would advocate and work for Susan Collins. I am an
independent, by the way.
Nonpartisan
independent.
On the Bernie Sanders campaign
nonpartisan
in 2016, independent. And I can tell you I walked away from that in disgust, because
DNC rigged
the candidate that I thought I was volunteering for was not the candidate I was actually volunteering for.
Wait, what?
But if that helps you understand a little bit, you can get people like me off the bench. You can get them involved in a campaign for a partisan party campaign. You can get us involved, but I'm not going to do it for the wrong candidate, and I am going to fight against you if you put up somebody that I think is disgusting. And I think Graham Plattner is disgusting.
Yeah,
because he is a liar.
He
is a liar. I don't know how you trust him on anything, because you're saying, well, he would be better. How would you know he'd be better than anything? Because the one thing you know about him, the only thing you know about him, is that he is a liar.
Well,
the worst thing he could do is go and vote exactly like Susan Collins is probably going to do. And that
could
is as
vote
bad as
way
it would
worse
get.
than Susan Collins. Are you listening to yourself?
Oh my God!
If you think a Democratic candidate is going to go in and just completely vote,
you think
100%
somebody who
for
lies
Trump,
compulsively to your face is
he
somebody
lied.
That you
He lied one time. If he lied, that means every single thing is going to be like, he lied.
Time for all of Trump's things, yes or no?
King based.
No. I'll answer.
This is a very simple question. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll answer your question, but I want you to answer mine first.
Sure. What's your question?
Do you think you can trust somebody who lies compulsively all the time on what they say they're going to vote for,
all
versus
the time,
somebody you don't always agree with, but who does not lie to you?
Susan Collins lies all the time.
I don't think you can trust anybody completely.
I don't even fair, and I'm going to challenge the comment that she lies constantly, present lies.
Hold on, just real quick. Let Hutch get in here.
There's a difference between being
Hold on.
deceptive
PvP,
or not wanting to
PvP,
be
please.
fine, and I get that, right?
Please, buddy.
Okay.
Hutch.
I'm having trouble understanding your concern because it sounds like your concern is that he'll go in there and maybe vote with the Republicans. And so, because that disgusts you so much, you would vote for the Republican. Like, I don't understand what that means. Like,
Yeah,
it
it's
just feels
retarded.
wrong to
This
me.
is an
You have a
independent, by the
failure
way.
of the theory of mind over here, because what I said is that I think he's disgusting because he's a liar. And then you're projecting that onto his voting record, which I said, how do you trust his voting record because he's a liar? That's two different.
It's about what we would
things. Two different things, Hutch.
It's about what we would reasonably expect, and I think it's
yeah, but he's a liar. And you're not.
I don't know what that means. Like, is he going to go in there and vote against, vote with Republicans most of the time? Like, what? I don't know what you think the risk is.
What advocacy? What package do you think you're supporting other than generic Democrat? Right? If that's part of the conversation we're having about vote blue no matter who, right?
I think he'd probably vote to convict if there was an impeachment trial. I think he would probably vote along with the Democratic Party if they were to pass a bunch of symbolic bills.
It's so cringe.
Again, I agree with you.
I think he would vote
out there.
Let's
say
Medicare for all actually came up. Do you think that that's something that he would actually support?
Yes. And absolutely, he has a quote out there. It says, "I'm not going to be a pain in everyone's ass," and no offense to the Pennsylvania senator.
Doesn't matter. He's a liar. Watch. Get ready. He's about to counter him. Doesn't matter. He's a liar. He's a liar. Doesn't matter. He's a liar. Watch this. He's about to get owned. Here we go.
But he also said he didn't have a Nazi tattoo.
Stop.
So,
Oh my God, Wick.
Sure.
Here he goes. Hold on. Doesn't matter. He's a liar. Doesn't matter. He's a liar.
Hold on, no, stop. Everyone shut up. Everyone shut up. Everyone shut up.
So many things.
One time, Mooten? You think he lied
a
one
ton of times.
time
As long
about
as he...
one thing?
And
if I can flip a coin and 50% of the time he votes Dem, I'm voting him over the Republican every time. It doesn't matter.
Well, there's a big problem to look at. It's not
Susan
that
Collins
he just lies
voted
Dem
50% of the time during the Biden
During
administration.
Biden, sure. Has she done that during the Trump administration?
Okay, Alice, please.
The point is that she tends to vote at least 50% of the time with the president, regardless of the
Alice,
party.
not
She's an
Tali.
actual
So
mom.
Tali.
Regardless of a tendency to lie or flip sometimes, there's also a more concerning pattern where he seems easily naive and duped. On the tattoo, explanations range from the steel man of he didn't really know or care or look into it and just went along with his bros and got a tattoo on his body for years, to he's actively and repeatedly fallen down multiple ideological pipelines and said and done stupid shit for a number of years. This is a guy I do not trust to get into the Senate, where Republicans could try to court him, get him in a closed room meeting, and I think he could easily kind of flip. He only seems to really flip on some stuff. He only got rid of the tattoo when it was public and he was confronted on it and had no other way out. This is like a dude you cannot trust.
With a Democrat. You don't have to do that with a Republican. It's already a done deal.
But Susan Collins knows the full set of cards and the full table and still sometimes does not go with the Republicans. She has
principled stands.
Oh my God.
I 50% of the time under the Biden administration.
No,
That's exactly
and like 35% of the time now.
No, but Tali,
meaningful.
he's not. The Democrat is not president right now. It's